Welcome back. In the previous session, we have seen how systems of governance based on human element have weaknesses and can cause tyranny by one or more people. We also saw that to overcome these shortcomings, what we need is rule of law, not rule of men. This is the defining feature of a republic. It is a nation governed by laws and rules. Sovereignty, or the ultimate right to rule, still rests with the citizens, but the state is governed by codes of law, not the impulsive decisions of a mob or monarch. Let us begin with a quick historical overview. In the ancient world, the Roman Republic is considered the earliest Western example of a republic. Ancient Rome was a republic governed by a senate, which consisted of a small number of distinguished citizens who made laws in the name of all the people of Rome. The Senate became the model for today's parliaments. In the course of history, one general of the Roman Republic's army gained more and more power and eventually turned it into the Roman Empire. This general's name was Julius Caesar. In ancient India, some of the 16 Mahajanpadas were republics as well, though most were monarchies ruled by a Raja or king. Janpad literally means a place where people or Jana set their foot or pada. We know very little about Janpads, and the information we have comes mostly from occasional references in Buddhist documents of the period, in this case from the Anguttara Nikaya. The definition of republic has evolved over time. The word has an interesting origin. First, the idea arose that the country is not the private property of the ruler and his family, but a matter concerning its citizens. A public matter rather than a private matter. The language of ancient Rome was called Latin. In Latin, public matter is written as res publica. It is from this term that the English word republic has come. Since a country is not the private property of the ruler, but a public matter concerning its citizens, it is fundamentally different from a king's private kingdom. The country is governed as a duty to the public to ensure their welfare. It means a system where the right to rule or ultimate ruling power is derived from the people, not from the supposedly divine heredity of the king. People who live in this territory are its citizens possessing certain rights, not the subjects of the king with whom he can do as he wishes. A republic is governed by the people themselves through the laws they make. We can see this from the Indian Constitution's preamble as well. It begins, "We the people of India," and ends, "Give to ourselves this constitution." It does not say something like, "I, King Chandragupta, hereby declare that my subjects would have justice, liberty, a horse, and 100 gold coins by my decree." The Indian Republic draws its power from the people themselves. In medieval times, many countries that claimed to care for the welfare of the people called themselves republics, and even oppressive countries sometimes claimed use of this term. But over the 17th and 18th centuries, the definition shifted. Especially in the 18th century, we had multiple revolutions that overthrew monarchies, the most significant being the French Revolution and the American Revolution. After this, all monarchies began to be seen negatively. A nation was now expected to give its citizens more powers and rights and become a republic governed in their name and with laws made for public benefit. This is a painting showing the surrender of the British Army to the United States in 1781 after the Battle of Yorktown, which was the last major land battle in the American Revolutionary War. The winning general was George Washington, who later became the first president of the United States. Do you know who the surrendering British general depicted in this painting is? It is Lord Cornwallis, who later came to India as Governor General in 1786 and introduced far-reaching reforms like the permanent settlement and merit-based promotion of officers. Another interesting thing in this painting is the American flag of the time. You will notice that it does not have the usual 50 stars, but a lesser number. Actually, it is 13 stars in this picture. At this time, there were only 13 states in the United States, which was represented in the flag by both the 13 stars and the 13 alternating red and white stripes. As new states joined, the stripes were fixed at 13, and a new star was added for each state till it reached its present number, 50. Now let us summarize and bring together all the key points we have discussed and see how republic and democracy fit together. The republic specifies two important things. First, it specifies the type of leadership. The leaders work on behalf of the people, and usually there is collective leadership like a parliament or senate, rather than individual leadership like an all-powerful king. There might be a president or prime minister to coordinate things in a republic, but he or she is responsible to this parliamentary collective and can be impeached or replaced by it. And in any case, such a person is regularly changed every few years, such as through elections. He or she does not have any permanent status or hereditary lineage. The second thing that the republic indicates is a manner of governance, how the nation should be governed. It must be governed through a process of law, not through human impulses. By operating through rule of law, it opposes both anarchy and majoritarianism, as we discussed in the previous session. All this is very good, but it still does not specify who should be governing. Sure, we will govern on behalf of the people and through rule of law, but who will do it? That is where democracy comes in. In a representative democracy, the governing representatives are chosen from among the common people themselves, not from any hereditary monarchy or nobility or so-called eminent persons, as was the case in the Roman Senate. As we see in India and also in other democracies, any citizen can stand for elections and join parliament if he wins, and everyone gets a vote in electing these representatives. So republic answers the how and democracy answers the who of governance. Combining both, we get a democratic republic. So how does this apply to India? First of all, a republic is governed by representatives acting on behalf of all of us who are our parliamentarians with an official machinery answering to them. All this operates through application of laws specified in the constitution and in various legal acts passed by parliament. Then a democracy allows each of us a vote to select those people and to stand for elections ourselves if we wish. In combination, these make us a democratic republic. We will discuss these features in greater detail in an upcoming session when we look at India's constitutional framework. What is the opposite of a democratic republic? It is not necessarily a monarchy or an anarchy. There can be a nation which has a strong system of laws and also has collective leadership, but excludes significant sections of the population and treats them unfairly. These are some public boards from the apartheid era in South Africa, which lasted till 1994. There was racial segregation, and white people had most good things reserved for them, including the best jobs. This was a continuation of white racial superiority since the colonial era. This shows how important the idea of the democratic republic is. Having a nation that has uniform laws for all citizens, that does not discriminate, a nation that works to uplift all its people, not just a chosen few. Let us pause this polity session here for now. In the upcoming sessions, we will continue the discussion of the republic and look at both India and international cases to deepen our understanding. Later, we will discuss the Indian Constitution in detail, examining its republican and democratic features, and finally we will apply this knowledge to answer different kinds of mains questions. See you in the next session.